Where did the idea come from that being able to draw a perfect circle freehand is a sign of artistic genius? Welcome back to Question of the Week. I'm Mr. Z. This week's question came from Blake Winfield in Florida. In the world that exists between art history and Renaissance mythology, there's this story about Pope Benedict XI querying all the artists in Europe in search of the greatest talent. Giotto, a prominent Italian artist, sent back a drawing of a perfect circle to the Pope. Apparently, the courier who transported the drawing thought he had been made a fool of. When he reported on how it had been drawn freehand, the Pope declared Giotto the greatest artist in all the land and lavished him with commissions or exposure or something. Many other stories exist about pre-Renaissance artists competing with one another in order to establish some kind of hierarchy of merit, to figure out who was the greatest painter according to a technical criterion that might govern an artistic hierarchy. A famous one is the painting battle between Xerxes and Parrhasius in the 5th century BC, which was sort of like a rap battle, but with painting. They were trying to paint a more convincing trompe-l'oeil, which is a painting or drawing of something that is done so realistically it looks like a three-dimensional object that you can touch. Xerxes painted grapes so convincingly that birds tried to eat them. Then Parrhasius presented his painting behind a curtain, which Xerxes tried to pull back to see the painting, only to discover that the curtain was the painting, and immediately he conceded that he had lost the battle. Unsurprisingly, no such metric of artistic skill ultimately took root. Signs of artistic genius, if such a thing exists, are decidedly attached to an artist's ability to reach their audience on an emotional level, rather than merely wowing them with parlor tricks like hyperrealism. The popular opinion among those with discerning tastes seems to be that artistic genius isn't something you can just achieve by practicing alone in a room for a long time. Those who feel that being able to draw a perfect circle freehand is a sign of artistic genius have therefore been taken in by that parlor trick, and that's as far as their art appreciation ever got. For them, art is a form of short-term entertainment, not a mode of expressing or communicating ideas. And as an artist, I can tell you, we don't really care as long as it means they'll buy our work. A similar myth is the connection between genius and solving the Rubik's Cube. It started for the same reason as the mythical link between genius and drawing a perfect circle. People encounter a niche skill they themselves do not possess. They see someone who possesses that skill, but they do not see all the practice that went into developing that one skill, even if it is a relatively useless skill. So they decide the only explanation for such skill is some existentially predetermined mark of genius. It's also a really good way to make excuses for just not being good at something. If someone who is good at a thing is good at it because they're a genius, then that excuses everybody else's mediocrity, because it suggests that they cannot improve even with practice. What's even worse is if you think artists are only great when they can impress you with something like drawing a perfect circle or depicting something the way you'd see it with your eyes or a camera, it means you're not really open to appreciating art for all the other qualities it might possess. So stop worrying about genius and instead get in touch with the way art makes you feel. Learn how art works. Then the world really starts to open up. If you've got an art-related question, you can email it to me, yzohar126mat@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.